Hi guys, this is Ma'am Yan. Today, let's do a ratio of your fundamentals in nursing na mga questions. So, let's start. Guys, number one. While removing the needle after giving an intramuscular injection to Diluk, the nurse presses a gauze plangette over the site. This technique helps to letter A, seal off the track left by the needle in the tissue, or letter B, speed the spread of the medication in the tissue, or letter C, avoid the discomfort of the needle pulling on the skin, or letter D, prevent organisms from entering the body through the skin puncture. Guys, dapat ang sinagot mo dito is no other than your letter C. To avoid the discomfort of the needle pulling on the skin. That's the correct answer. Guys, yung gauze plangette mo guys, parang rolyo ng gauze yan na nilalagay mo dyan kung saan ka nag-insert. Close to where you have injected intramuscularly. And then you put a little bit of pressure when you retract the needle. So that when you retract the needle, hindi siya masakit or uncomfortable for the patient. Okay? Guys, pag sinabi mong letter A, seal off the track left by the needle in the tissue, it's not the work of your gauze plangette. Ang yan is under your Z-track method. Ayan. So guys, Z-track method, familiar with that? Pag intramuscularly ka mag-inject, you have to slightly pull on the subcutaneous tissue to dislocate it intentionally so that you can access the intramuscular injection site via 90 degrees angle when you inject it. Okay? So, pag inject mo ganyan, no, before you inject, you have to dislocate that subcutaneous tissue first and then inject. Then, after you inject, you retract the needle and then you return the subcutaneous tissue. Why are you doing that? Guys, that's your Z-track method and you're doing that to seal off the track left by the needle in the tissue. And remember guys, gumagamit ka ng Z-track method lalo na kapag ang ginagamit mong medication intramuscularly is irritating to the tissues. Irritating medication siya. So, ayaw mong mag-leak siya to the subcutaneous tissue at sa skin and other tissues of the skin aside from the muscle, kaya ginagamit mo ang Z-track method. Speed the spread of the medication in the tissue for letter B. That one, guys, you do that by massaging the area. Using massage. Okay, i-massage mo siya. Or application of warm compress. Ayan. So, when you massage, you can hasten the spread of the medication. When you use warm compress, you also promote vasodilation of the blood vessels and the absorption of the medication will be faster kasi naka-vasodilate yung vessels mo. Okay? And then delta, to prevent organisms from entering the body through the skin puncture, guys, ginagamitan mo yan ng mga barrier method. So, pwedeng gamitan mo yan sa mga ointment, topical antibiotics, okay, or what have you. So, that's for number 1. Number 2, the nurse is performing chest percussion on Klee to help loosen secretions. Which technique should the nurse use? Letter A, firmly but gently striking the chest wall to make a popping sound. Or B, gently striking the chest wall to make a slapping sound. Or C, percussing over an area from the umbilicus to the clavicle. Or letter D, placing a blanket between the nurse's hand and the child's chest. Guys, anong correct dyan? Ang tama lang dito, no other than letter A, okay? Firmly but gently striking the chest wall to make a popping sound. So guys, when you strike the chest during chest physiotherapy, guys, no chest physiotherapy dyan when you percuss, chest percussion. Guys, in your chest percussion, ang kamay mo dapat cusp. Cusp or cupped hand. Ganito, okay? And then when you apply it on the chest of the patient, ganyan, okay? Dapat popping sound. Guys, sabi ng Bravo guys, slapping sound. That one is wrong. Pag slapping sound ang naririnig mo guys, you are doing the wrong technique. Kasi meaning niyan, flat ang kamay mo. Pag flat ang kamay, masakit. Okay? Dapat naka-cupped or cusped ang hands mo. Okay? Ganyan, okay? Popping sound. The slapping sound will hurt the patient and will injure the tissues. Klaro ba? Yes. And guys, percussion mo guys, hindi aabot sa umbilicus ha. Nasaan ba ang lung area mo? Sa chest lang. Kaya nga chest percussion. So, ang chest lang ipe-percuss mo ha. Hindi ka magpe-percuss sa umbilicus. Baka masuka ang pasyente mo. So, don't do that. Guys, placing a blanket between the client's hands and the child's chest, there's no need to add additional layer of clothing. Guys, dapat naka-shirt ang pasyente mo, okay na yun. Sapat na yun to provide a little bit of cushion against the tissue and the hands of the nurse. Klaro ba? Yes. So guys, letter A is the correct answer. Next, number 3. The nurse is performing routine tracheostomy care for sine qua non. Which step is appropriate? So we're looking for the correct answer. Remove the inner cannula every 2 hours for cleaning. Or B, secure the tracheostomy ties with a square knot. Or C, use cut gauze under the neck plate to protect the skin. Or letter D, suction the inner cannula on completion of the procedure. So alin dyan ang tama? The only correct answer for number 3 is no other than bravo, guys. Secure the tracheostomy ties with a square knot. Square knot ang gamit mo para secure ang tie, hindi siya basta-basta ma-dislodge or matanggal pag gumalaw ang pasyente. Guys, you don't need to remove the inner cannula every 2 hours for cleaning. Guys, when do we usually clean the inner cannula of your tracheostomy? Guys, you clean that every 8 hours. Okay? Or pag visibly soiled or maraming secretion. But routine cleaning, guys, you do that every 8 hours. So, kumbaga, every shift change, di ba? 8 hours man ang pinaka-common na shift ng nursing sa Philippines. So, every shift, nililinis mo yan. Every 8 hours. Klaro ba? Guys, yung inner cannula, guys, kung mapapansin mo, no, tracheostomy mo, guys, meron kang outer cannula. Ayan. And then you have an inner cannula. Ayan. So, sa loob, may inner cannula ka. Yan yung tinatanggal mo para malinisan mo yung loob ng guys, ng tracheostomy ng pasyente mo, no? You don't remove the outer cannula, it remains inside. Unless otherwise kailangan ng palitan, saka natin pinapalitan. Okay? And doctor ang nagpapalit niyan, guys. Or sino man ang trained to do tracheostomy, change. Guys, yung inner cannula lang yung nasa loob, yan yung tinatanggal natin. The purpose of the inner cannula is para malinisan mo yung airway ng pasyente mo. Kasi dyan didikit lahat ng mga secretions. Klaro? Yes, mga plemas and everything. Guys, you don't cut gauze under the neck, okay, plate to protect the skin. Diba? The neck plate is this one. Yung nasa front, yung nandito yung nakikita mo sa neck. Okay? Guys, the neck plate, yan. In protecting the neck plate of the patient, guys, para hindi siya tumama sa skin ng pasyente mo and cause irritation, we use a pre-cut dressing. Etong dressing na to, guys, pre-cut dressing, it's specially made for tracheostomies. So, hindi ka gagamit ng gauze, ha? Mali ang gumamit ng gauze. Why? Guys, kung makikita mo yung gauze mo, guys, marami siyang mga thin na fibers, di ba? Para siyang pinagtagpi-tagpi na fibers. So, pag ginumpit mo yan, the fiber, yung mga loose fibers, pwedeng pumasok sa loob ng airway ng pasyente mo, can irritate the airway. Okay? So, mali yan. Guys, dapat pre-cut dressing. Pre-cut tracheostomy dressing ang gamit natin to cushion the neck plate of the patient. Klaro ba? And then guys, suction the inner cannula on completion of the procedure. No, mali. Kasi pag sinabi mong on completion of the procedure mo, sinuction yung inner cannula, mali yun. Guys, when you remove the inner cannula, you suction the secretion. Okay? Yun. It's not on completion or after of the cleaning, okay? You do that before you clean. You suction first any visible secretions and then you soak it, okay? And then you let it dry, okay? Pag tuyo na, that's the time you return if it's a reusable inner cannula. So, different yan per manufacturer, guys, ha? So, you have to know kung yung inner cannula ng pasyente mo replaceable or yung inner cannula ng pasyente mo is yung reusable. Okay? So, kung replaceable, replace every 8 hours. Kung reusable, you clean every 8 hours and then you return. Okay? So, guys, kung if you're curious, anong ginagamit natin panglinis for the inner cannula, you're using either a sterile water or pwedeng plain normal saline solution mo. Okay? 0.9% plain normal saline solution. Yan ang ginagamit natin. Okay? We don't use any other solutions. Okay? Kasi pwedeng corrode niya naman yung surface ng inner cannula. Klaro ba yon? Yes. So guys ha, tracheostomy care mo, you do that every 8 hours and you clean the inner cannula. Okay? So when you remove the inner cannula per manufacturer's prescription, if it's reusable, then you reuse after cleaning. If it's replaceable, then you replace after cleaning. Klaro? Yes. And you clean it every 8 hours and you use sterile water or plain normal saline for soaking. But before you soak, you have to suction first visible secretions. You do that before and not upon the completion. Klaro ba? Yes, of the procedure. Ayan. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Ano ba to? Ang ingay ng aking phone. Next, number 4. Kaya is scheduled for hip replacement surgery and tells the nurse during pre-admission testing that he wishes to receive his own blood during the operation. The nurse should, letter A, document the client's request on the chart, or letter B, notify the hematology laboratory, or letter C, notify the surgeon's office, or letter D, call the blood bank. Guys, the only correct answer here is no other than Charlie. You notify the surgeon's office. Guys, sabi ng pasyente, nurse, I wanna use my own blood for the surgery. What kind of surgery? Hip replacement surgery. Guys, the question is that allowed? And the answer is yes. Allowed yan. Okay? Guys, what do you call that kind of blood transfusion? Autologous blood transfusion, meaning the own blood of the patient is the one that is preserved and used during surgery kung kinailangan niya ng dugo. Klaro ba? Kung kinailangan niya ng blood transfusion. That's your autologous blood transfusion. And guys, the thing about your autologous blood transfusion, that's the safest kind of blood transfusion. Okay? So, kasi sariling dugo ng pasyente yung isasalin sa kanya during surgery pag kinailangan niya ng dugo kasi nagkaroon ng bleeding. Klaro ba? Yes. So guys, makinig ka ha, safest yan, autologous blood transfusion. The next question is, pwede bang gawin ng lahat ng pasyenteng magsusurgery yan? Guys, the simple answer is, hindi pwede. Pwede ka lang magkaroon ng autologous blood transfusion if the surgery is medyo matagal pa or scheduled. Klaro ba? But for emergency situations, you cannot do this. Okay? Or else, guys, counterintuitive. Guys, emergency situation na nga, di ba? So, for example, may emergency appendectomy tapos nagkaroon ng hemorrhage, gagamitin mo yung own blood ng pasyente. Cannot be. Okay? Kasi kailangan may sufficient amount of time for the blood cells of the body to recover or recuperate after mo siya tinanggal kasi gagamitin mo siya for future use for the patient's surgery. Okay? So guys, kaya dapat ginagamit lang siya for scheduled surgeries. Klaro ba yon? Yes, not for emergent or emergency situations. Okay? So guys ha, pwede yan. Autologous blood transfusion. It's in fact the safest, but you have to do that, okay, only in scheduled surgery. Okay? So, ito si pasyente, si Kaya. Anong gagawin natin sa kanya? First, you inform the surgeon kung sino ang assigned sa case ni Kaya. Sabihan mo ang surgeon na yon. Why? Guys, the surgeon needs to note that on the doctor's order. Only the time the nurse can carry out whatever the wishes of the patient when it is ordered by the doctor. Klaro ba? Yes. So, notify the one who's making the order. Notify the surgeon. Klaro? Yes. Ma'am, bakit hindi document the client's request on the chart? The only time you can document is after you have informed kung sino yung gagawa ng pinaka-unang step para magawa mo yung wishes ng patient. Klaro ba? And that will come from the doctor's orders first. Okay? And only the time you can carry out the wishes of the patient and document it on your chart. And notify the hematology laboratory and call the blood bank. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay, ganun yun ha. Ayun. So, that's it for number 4. Next one, number 5. Hu Tao is scheduled for hydrotherapy treatment for burn wounds. Before starting the session, which intervention should the nurse include in the plan of care? So guys, note the term before, bago tayo mag-hydrotherapy kanino, kay Hu Tao. Letter A, limit foods and fluids 45 minutes before therapy to prevent nausea and vomiting. Or letter B, increase the IV flow rate to offset fluids lost through the therapy. Or C, apply a topical antibiotic cream to burns to prevent infection. Or letter D, administer pain medication 30 minutes before therapy to prevent or to help manage pain. Guys, what's the correct answer? Okay? Top-notcher. Pag sinagot, administer pain medications 30 minutes before the therapy to manage pain. Okay? Yan ang best answer for this one. Guys, yung hydrotherapy treatment mo, guys, ginagamit mo yan sa mga pasyenteng tulad niyan, may mga burn wounds. Okay? And guys, hydrotherapy, you are using water. From the word itself, hydrotherapy. Tama? Yes. And inside the water, guys, ng hydrotherapy mo, guys, filled with minerals yan. Mga minerals na pwede nating magamit to help the wounds from the burn injury recover faster. So, it aids in the recovery of the burned tissue. Klaro? Kasi nilalagyan mo yan ng minerals. And at the same time, guys, no, when you're doing hydrotherapy, there's a little bit of pressure exerted by the water. Okay? Guys, the pressure from the water and the minerals in the water, pag natama yan sa wound mo, medyo mahapdi at masakit. Klaro ba? Kaya kailangan, before mo siya i-hydrotherapy, 30 minutes before, kailangan i-pre-medicate mo muna siya ng pain medication para maging comfortable naman sa kanya ang procedure na makatulong sa kanya to help aid the healing of the tissues na na-burn. Klaro ba? Yes, let's look at other choices. Limit food and fluid 45 minutes before. Guys, there's no need to limit. Hindi kailangan NPO dito. There's no special instruction prior to hydrotherapy aside from your pain medication. And then letter B, increase the IV flow rate to offset fluid loss during or through the therapy. Guys, eto ha, pag mag-hydrotherapy ka, hindi ka mawawalan ng fluids. Guys, you are not at risk of fluid imbalance, but rather electrolyte imbalance. So guys, you take a look at the electrolytes even more as compared to the fluids. Kasi guys, pag sinabi mong minerals, pwede bang magkaroon dyan ng mga phosphorus, ng mga sodium content? Yes, precisely, from the minerals na nilagay mo dyan. So, pwedeng magkaroon ng exchange of these elements sa katawan ng pasyente mong may open wound, doon ka at risk of electrolyte imbalance. Hindi fluid loss or fluid imbalance. Klaro? That's why there's no need for you to increase the IV flow rate on your own as an independent nursing action. Guys, you only change the fluid if it's ordered by the doctor. Otherwise, you risk the patient having fluid imbalance. Okay? So, do not galawin. Do not galawin. Huwag mong galawin ang IV flow rate ng pasyente mo as ordered by the doctor. Yan yung order para sa kanya to maintain the fluid balance of the body. Kung in-increase mo yan, you are increasing the risk of what? Fluid volume overload. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay? And then guys, letter C, apply topical antibiotic cream to burns to prevent infection. Guys, before starting the session, hindi ka maglalagay ng ointment. When do you put the ointment? After pa. Pagtapos na na-cleanse ang wound using the hydrotherapy. Klaro ba yun? Yes. That's the only time you apply your topical antibiotics. That's for number 5. Number 6, the nurse is performing an otoscopic exam on Kiki, a 2-year-old child. To view the tympanic membrane correctly, the nurse should pull the pinna. Guys, is it down and back? Or is it down and slightly forward? Or is it up and back? Or is it up and forward? Guys, the only correct answer is no other than you pull it down and back. Okay? Down and back. Why? Look at the age, 2 years old. Ano yung metric natin, guys? 3 years old, di ba? Guys, pag 3 years old ang pasyente, pataas, dapat you pull it up and back. Okay? Pataas. So, up ang pulling. So, that one, you pull it up and back. Pero kapag siya ay less than 3 years old, less, guys, down, less, mababa. So, ibig sabihin, down and back. Klaro? Down and back is the correct answer. Guys, hindi down and forward ha. When you do down and forward, that will not align the ear canal. Kasi guys, what's the purpose of this one? Bakit mo ginagawa yung movement na yan? That's to align the ear canal. Klaro? Yes, ayan. So, to align the ear canal for a child younger than 3 years old, what you do is to pull the pinna down and back. Klaro ba? Yes, and not down and slightly forward. Okay, up and back, you do that for more than 3 years old and not up and forward. Mali procedure yan. Klaro? Yes, ayan. So that's it for number 6. Next, number 7. A urine specimen is collected from albedo for culture and sensitivity. Which action is correct? A, promptly send the specimen to the laboratory, or B, send the specimen with the next pickup, or C, send the specimen the next time a nursing assistant is available, or letter D, store the specimen in the refrigerator until it can be sent to the laboratory. Guys, the only correct answer is no other than letter A. You promptly send the specimen to the laboratory right after collecting it. Wala ka nang hihintayin. Hindi ka na maghihintay ng next pick-up. Hindi ka na maghihintay ng nursing assistant. Klaro ba yun? Yes, you have to do it right away after you have collected the urine of the pasyente. Why? Guys, tingnan mo, gagawa ka ba ng culture? Yes, pag sinabing gagawa ng culture, guys, ibig sabihin, gusto mo malaman ng causative agent. So think, bakit kaya sa urine specimen ni albedo, we want to know the culture, we want to know the causative agent? So we can safely assume na probably albedo is presenting signs and symptoms of what? Urinary tract infection. Claro? Yes, there is an ongoing infection. That's why we're checking the urine for culture. So for culture, we want to know the causative agent. Guys, you send it promptly right after you have collected the urine. Kasi pag hindi mo ginawa yan and you let it sit there in the room of the patient, guys, before sending it off, kasi may hinintay ka pang pick up, may hintay ka pang nursing assistant, ang mangyayari is ang urine, may i-infect yan ng ibang bacteria, guys, around the patient's room. Okay? So magkakaroon ng overgrowth of the bacteria na hindi naman nag-cause ng UTI niya. Klaro ba? So pag culture mo ngayon, ang dami-daming bacteria na nag-grow. Hindi mo na alam kung alin doon yung bacteria na nag-cause ng UTI ni albedo. Klaro ba? Yes. And then sensitivity, guys, you use the sensitivity testing to know what kind of antibiotic, okay, the causative agent is sensitive to. Claro? So after you culture and you grow the bacteria concerned with the UTI of the patient, you then drop some samples of the antibiotics to know what kind of antibiotic they are sensitive to or they will die when you give that to them, no? Sensitive sila yon doon. So yan ha, you don't store the specimen in the refrigerator until it can be sent to the laboratory. Send it right away for more accurate and reliable results. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Next, number 8. When giving Navia a tube feeding, the nurse should, letter A, warm the feeding solution before administration. Letter B, place the client in a left side lying position. Letter C, aspirate the residual gastric contents before the feeding and discard. Or letter D, verify the position of the tube before beginning the feeding. Guys, kung mapapansin mo, there are multiple answers that sounds correct. But the best that you should do here is letter D. You should first verify the tube before beginning the feeding. Correct? Yes. Guys, tignan mo ha. Before giving a tube feeding, is it correct to check for the location of the tube? Yes. Is it also correct to warm the feeding solution prior to administration to prevent abdominal cramps or abdominal pain? Also correct. Do you also need to, guys, aspirate the residual gastric contents before the feeding? Guys, yes, but you don't need to discard it, making Charlie the wrong answer. Claro? Yes, and also place the client in the left side lying position is wrong. That's why ang tamang sagot is dapat you should elevate the head of the bed muna to prevent aspiration. Okay? Elevate the head of the bed. So, ang pinakatamang sagot is to verify the position first. Pag nasa position siya, that's the time you can promote better feeding to the patient. Kaya nga, may tube feeding kasi hindi masyado makatolerate ng oral feeding ang pasyente mo. Klaro? Yes, baka may problem when it comes to the swallowing reflex. For example, mga stroke patient or patients with neurologic conditions. Klaro? Na nahihirapan mag-swallow like Parkinson's disease and etc. Klaro? So, ayan na. But is it correct, ma'am, to warm the solution before administration? Yes, until room temperature to prevent abdominal cramping or abdominal discomfort. Pero, guys, warming versus positioning, ang best na dapat napiliin mo is positioning first. Okay? Walang kwenta ang warmed feeding solution kung hindi sa tiyan ang location ng tube at hindi mo siya nabigay sa tiyan. Klaro ba? Yes. Next, number 9. The nurse prepares gene for thoracosynthesis. How should the client be positioned? A, supine with the arms over the head. Or B, Sims position, paside. Or C, prone position without a pillow, pahapa. Or letter D, sitting forward with the arms supported on the bedside table, ayan, or top neck position. Guys, the only correct answer is what? Delta, no? Very easy. Delta is the correct answer. Thoracosynthesis. Ibig sabihin, guys, in the thora, magsisynthesis ka or kukunan mo siya ng mga excess fluid in the thorax. Claro? You're doing thoracosynthesis because probably the patient has pleural effusion. Klaro? Sa loob ng thorax niya may excess fluids, kaya kailangan mong i-extract. So, sitting forward, leaning on a bedside table, ayan, this is the table, and then leaning siya forward, ganyan. O, you promote the gravity to pull in the fluid doon sa baba, banda ng lungs niya. So, nandito siya ngayon sa baba ng lungs niya. So, that's a better angle for you to aspirate the excess fluid kasi ngayon naka-elevate ang pasyente mo. Klaro? Prone, nakahiga, hindi mo mako-consolidate yung fluid on the bottom part of the chest for you to aspirate it. Since position is wrong, supine, mali din. Okay? The only one that will elevate the patient and promote the pulling of the fluid below the chest or below the thorax is letter D. Klaro? Yes. Oh, number 10. After removal of official's nasogastric tube, which measure should the nurse implement? Promptly. Letter A, provide the client with oral hygiene. Letter B, offer the client liquids to drink. Letter C, encourage the client to cough and deep breathe. Or letter D, auscultate the client's bowel sounds. And the only correct answer is no other than, guys, your alpha. Okay, provide oral hygiene. Klaro ba? Yes. Guys, tinanggal mo na ang NGT niya. So, the NGT is the tube from the nose to the stomach. Correct? Yes. So, guys, pag tinanggal mo yan, you are threading from the nose to the stomach. So, guys, tandaan mo, oral hygiene comes after you have removed the nasogastric tube. Kasi, guys, remember, for the longest of time, dun mo binibigay ang feeding niya. So, guys, to promote oral hygiene, you give your oral hygiene to the patient. And for the longest of time na hindi nagamit yung mouth niya during feeding. Klaro? So, you provide your oral hygiene right away. Okay? Guys, you don't offer the clients liquids to drink. You do that after mo nang nalinisan ang bunganga niya. Guys, sino bang may gustong uminom ng tubig? Guys, hindi pa nakakapaglinis ng bunganga or nakakapagmumog. Diba? It's very uncomfortable. So, it comes first, hygiene muna before you provide your liquids to drink. And there's no need to encourage the client to cough and deep breath. Guys, nasogastric tube, guys, sa GI mo yan, hindi yan respi. GI yan for feeding. Okay? Coughing and deep breathing, guys, it's more specific to a respi kind of procedure or condition. So, ito, GI to. So, eliminate mo na yan. Hindi yan kasali. Auscultate the client's bowel sounds for what? Auscultating for the bowel sound is not important. Kasi kahit nung may NG tube pa siya, nagagamit niya ang GI niya. Klaro? You only auscultate for the bowel sounds if may problem tayo sa peristalsis ng pasyente. In this case, nung naka-NG tube siya, okay ang peristalsis niya kasi nakaka-feed ka sa stomach, di ba? Yes, kahit nung tinanggal mo, all the better. Meaning, kaya niya nang mag-oral intake, di ba? So, wala siyang problema sa peristalsis. There's no need to check for the bowel sounds. Klaro? Yes. Next, number 11. The nurse applies warm compresses on Noel's leg. Effectiveness of the compresses is determined by letter A, less scaling on the skin. Letter B, decreased bruising. Letter C, improved circulation to the area. Or letter D, decreased swelling in the area. Guys, ano ang purpose ng warm compress mo? Okay? It's no other than letter C. Okay? Letter C is the best answer. Guys, warm compress, ginagamit mo yan to vasodilate the blood vessels. When you vasodilate the blood vessels, you increase the size or the diameter of the blood vessels. You increase the flow of the blood in the area. So when you're doing that, are you improving the circulation in the area? Precisely, my friend. Klaro ba? Yes. So guys less scaling on the skin. Anong gagamitin mo para mangyari yan? Moisturizer, guys. Moisturize, like mga lotion, klaro. Guys, decrease the bruising. It's not for your warm compresses. It's more indicated na sinabi mong improve circulation because the direct effect is what? Vasodilation. Okay? Decrease the swelling in the area, guys. Pag sinabing may swelling ang leg, ang best answer for decreasing the swelling is to what? Elevate. Okay? Elevate. Ayan, elevate the leg para mawala ang swelling. Klaro? Ayan. So, for improvement of the circulation, vasodilate, that's the direct effect of the warm compress. That's why the best answer is Charlie. C. Klaro? Next, number 12. The nurse teaches unlicensed assistive personnel how to collect a 24-hour urine specimen for Barbara starting at 7 a.m. of Monday to 7 a.m. of Tuesday. Which instruction is correct? Letter A, collect and save the urine voided at 7 a.m. on Monday. Letter C, send the first voided urine specimen on Monday to the laboratory for culture. Or letter C, collect and save the urine voided at 7 a.m. on Tuesday. Or letter D, keep each day's urine collection in separate containers. What's the correct answer? Guys, tingnan mo. The only correct answer here is no other than your letter C. Okay, letter C lang ang tama dito. Collect and save the urine voided at 7 a.m. on Tuesday. Guys, kailan siya magsa-start, guys? 7 a.m. Monday until 7 a.m. of your Tuesday. Correct? Yes. So guys, kailangan na pag 24-hour urine collection like this one, ano yung rule? Ang gagawin mo, the first voided urine is discarded. Correct ba? Yes. So, guys, yung pinakaunang ihi niya 7 a.m. ng Monday, anong gagawin mo? Discard. Tapon mo yan. Klaro? Hindi yan kasali. And then, collect the urine thereafter. Klaro? Yes. So, guys, mali na ang alpha. Collect and save the urine voided at 7 a.m. on Monday. Kasi nga, dapat yan discarded. The first voided urine is discarded. Klaro? And then, guys, send the first voided urine specimen on Monday on the for the culture. Ano ba ang gagawin mo dito? 24-hour urine specimen collection. So guys, walang culture na sinabi. So wag kang magbuot-buot, okay? Wag kang mag-decide na i-culture mo yan unless otherwise ordered by the doctor. Kailangan niya ng culture. Di separate issue na yon. Ang question is about the 24-hour urine specimen. So you focus on that. Klaro? Panggulo lang ang Bravo. O Delta, keep each day's urine collection in separate containers. There's no need to do that. Guys, pag napuno mo na yung container, then you fill the other container. Depende kung gaano kadami ang urine ng pasyente. Ang importante, you can collect 24-hour urine specimen of the patient. And dapat i-discard mo ang first voided urine. Klaro ba? Yes. So the only correct answer is Charlie. Next, number 13. Zhongli who had TERP. Pag sinabing TERP, guys, that's your transurethral resection of the prostate. Okay? 1 day ago. And has a 3-way Foley catheter with continuous bladder irrigation. The best explanation for irrigation is A, to control bleeding in the bladder, or B, to instill antibiotics into the bladder, or C, to keep the catheter free from clot obstruction, or Delta, to prevent bladder distension. Anong best answer? Oh, the only correct answer here is no other than Charlie, ha? To keep the catheter free from clot obstruction. Guys, your TERP or your transurethral resection of the prostate, ginagawa mo yan pag ang pasyente mo may BPH, di ba? That's your benign prostatic, ayan, prostatic hyperplasia. Okay? So, benign prostatic hyperplasia, from the word itself, guys, the prostate may benign growth, okay, of the number of cells, hyperplasia. So, dumami yung number ng cells ng prostate mo. So, anong nangyari, guys? Ibig sabihin, ganito, di ba? This is your urethra. Urethra ng mga lalaki, lagusan ng ihi. This is your, ayan, prostate, somewhere here, there. Malapit yan sa urethra mo, guys, no? Nakasandwich ang urethra mo sa prostate mo. So, guys, kung meron kang BPH, your prostate is bigger kasi may overgrowth ng tissues, dumami ang cells. So, imagine what happened. Yung daluyan ng ihi mo, guys, lumiit kasi lumaki ang prostate. So, think, what would happen to the patient? Will the patient have problems in terms of voiding? Yes. Diba? Hindi makakalabas ng maayos ang ihi. Magkakaroon ng urine hesitancy. So, pag nag-try siya magwiwi, parang hindi lumalabas. Naghe-hesitate ang urine. Urine hesitancy. Bakit kaya? Kasi may overgrowth of the prostate tissue. The next one, after niyang umihi, meron siyang mafe-feel na dribbling urine. Pag sinabi mong dribbling urine, tapos ka na umihi, pero may tumutulo pa, okay? May naiiwan pang lumalabas. Dribbling urine yon. Klaro, incontinence yun, guys, ha? Urine dribbling is a type of urine incontinence. Yung lumalabas na ihi after mo umihi, yung tumutulo-tulo, that's your urine dribbling. Klaro? Yes, and that's because of your enlarged prostate. Now, pag gagawa ka ng TERP, transurethral resection of the prostate, anong ginawa mo, guys? Pumasok ang isang pumasok, may pinasok ka sa urethra ng pasyente, transurethral, through the urethra of the patient, you have resected the prostate, correct? So guys, anong ginamit mo? Gumamit ka ng resectoscope. The resectoscope is what you yan, no, papasok mo dyan sa urethra ng pasyente. And then, yung resectoscope, ang gamit mo para kaskasin, okay? Yung sobrang layers ng prostate, di ba? Masyadong ngilo. Kung Bisaya pa yan, guys, medyo ngilo sa feeling, di ba? So, yan, use a resectoscope to resect the excess area of the prostate. So, ang mangyayari ngayon, this is the urethra, and this is the prostate na resected na. Ayan. So, ang purpose niyan is to allow for better stream of urination. And after you do that, guys, nagpapasok ka ng three-way catheter. So, pagpasok ng three-way catheter dyan, guys, tignan mo ha, your three-way catheter, ganito yan. Meron kang 3 ports. Ayan. So, 3 ports meron. Ito yung nakapasok sa urethra ng pasyente mo. So, the first port is the balloon. Kailangan mo ng balloon para ma-anchor mo sa loob ng bladder ng pasyente yung urethra para hindi ma-dislodge, hindi matanggal pag nahila. Guys, the next one, that one is for irrigation. So, dyan mo i-attach, guys, yung tubing towards to what? Your infusion. So, ito yung plain normal saline solution mo. Klaro, dyan siya naka-attach sa irrigation. So, yan yung may clamp, okay? And then dyan papasok yung water kapag open yung clamp going to the bladder of the patient to irrigate. Klaro? Yes. And then the other one, guys, yan naman ang kinoconnect mo sa drainage bag. Dyan lalabas lahat ng urine. Klaro? So, sa drainage bag yan. So, guys, ano yung ginagawa mo? Ikaw ay nagkakaroon ng continuous bladder irrigation kasi nag-TERP ka. Bakit kaya? Kasi it's to keep the catheter free from clot obstruction. Guys, did you just resect the prostate? Yes. The most common complication of whatever kind of surgery, guys, or procedure, is it bleeding? Yes. So guys, imagine mo na lang ha, nasa urethra ka. Pag yan nag-bleed, nagkaroon ng clot, can it obstruct the urethra? Yes. Is that the reason why naglagay tayo ng catheter? Yes. Para maayos ang stream ng urine? Yes. Para hindi ma-distend ang bladder? Yes. So bakit tayo nag-i-irrigate ngayon? Is it to constantly apply fluid inside the bladder of the patient to prevent the formation of clot? To dissolve whatever kind of clot is being produced para ma-dilute mo sila kaagad. Yes, kasi guys, pag nagkaroon ng clot, tapos nasa urethra ka, pag nag-obstruct yan, hindi ka makakaihi. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng continuous bladder irrigation. You also call that your what? Cystoclysis. Cystoclysis. Klaro? Yes. Guys, continuous bladder irrigation. That's not to control the bleeding in the bladder. Okay? That's to what? Prevent the clot formation. To instill the antibiotics into the bladder, guys, hindi ka mag-i-irrigate. Kasi kung nag-i-irrigate ka, continuous stream yan. Pagpasok ng fluid from the irrigating solution to the bladder, lalabas din yan. Klaro? Kasi ini-irrigate mo nga. So, kung gusto mag-instill, you don't irrigate. Dapat nakaklamp yung tubing mo para hindi lumabas ulit yung fluid na may antibiotic. So, hindi yan for antibiotic. Kasi hindi naman din sinabi dyan na for antibiotic therapy siya or may ongoing infection. Klaro ba? Yes. And it's not to prevent bladder distension. Klaro? Yes. Kaya nga gusto natin na patent ang iyong catheter. Walang clot obstruction para ikaw hindi ka magkaroon ng bladder distension. Pero ano talagang purpose niya? It's letter C, to keep the catheter free from obstruction. Klaro ba? Yes. Next, number 14. When percussing Shanglick's distended bladder, the nurse should expect to hear. Guys, nagpa-percuss ka nung maririnig mo. A, hyperresonance. B, tympani. C, dullness. Or D, flatness. Eliminate mo na ang hyperresonance kasi wala yan sa abdomen, ha? Hyperresonance, you can only hear that when you percuss the what? The chest. The chest that is hyperinflated by air. Klaro? Kaya guys, the only correct answer here is Charlie, ha? Dullness. Guys, tulad nung sinabi ko kanina, hyperresonance. Guys, that's too much air in the thorax. Ikaw na mag-isip, bakit sobrang daming air dyan? Baka meron kang air trapping. Ikaw meron COPD. Ano yon? emphysema, di ba? The type of COPD that causes air trapping, emphysema. So in an emphysemic patient, when you percuss the chest, you will hear what? Hyperresonance. Hindi mo yan maririnig sa GI, klaro? Yes, or sa GUT, bladder. Ayan, okay? Guys, dullness kapag merong fluids. Klaro? Fluids. On the other hand, tympani naman, guys. Klaro? This one, you hear tympani kapag merong konting fluids tsaka gas. So, saan mo yan narinig, guys? Imagine a GI organ na may fluid and gas. You're correct. Pag iniisip mo, ma'am, pwede bang sa stomach ko marinig yan pag pinurkas ko? Yes, precisely. As well as your bowels or your intestines. Yes, precisely. Diba? Sa intestine, may tubig from the fluid that you're eating in the food and may gas. Kaya ka nakakautot. Diba? Sa GI. Kaya tympani yan. Guys, dullness saan yan? Sa full bladder. Sa full bladder mo yan maririnig. Saan pa guys? Dullness also in the liver, di ba? Solid ang liver mo. So that's it. Sa liver as well as your spleen, doon mo rin yan mapapercuss. Flatness guys, don't forget, yan yung klase ng thud na maririnig mo kapag nagpercuss ka ng muscles, okay? Ng bones, okay? So sharp thud. That's your flatness from muscles and bones. Pero pag nag-thud ka, pag nag-percuss ka sa mga organs na may fluids or solid organs, no? Like your liver and your spleen, dullness. Okay? Soft thud yan siya. Tympani on the other hand, guys, don't forget, yan yung parang drum-like sound. Drum-like sound, di ba? Sa stomach mo, pag ginanon mo siya, sounds like a drum kasi may fluid at the same time gas. Klaro? Yes. Next, number 15. Mona is receiving TPN. Pag sinabing TPN, guys, that's your total parenteral nutrition. Ayan. Oh. The nurse should assess for which complication. Letter A, essential amino acid deficiency. Letter B, essential fatty acid deficiency. Letter C, hyperglycemia. Letter D, infection. O, top notcher, pag sinagot, walang iba kundi Delta, infection. That's the best answer. Guys, maglagay ka sa flashcard mo, ha? Yung mga fast talk sa nursing. Guys, the quick and fast response, pag sinabing TPN, anong priority ng nurse? Walang iba kundi infection, ha? Infections. Ilagay mo yan sa flashcard mo. That's a hard and fast rule in the prioritization of nursing. What's the priority in your TPN? To prevent infection. Klaro ba? Yes. And true enough, guys. Why is that? Oh, look at the name. Total parenteral nutrition. Guys, your TPN, it's a hypertonic solution filled with all the things you need for you to survive if hindi ka mag-oral intake. Diretso sa ugat mo lahat ang kailangan mong nutrients. So, kasama na dyan, guys, ang dextrose or sugar or glucose. So, sobrang filled with sugar yan ang iyong TPN, di ba? Because sugar is energy for the cells. So, isa yan sa pinaka-dominante na laman niya sa loob. As well as mga essential amino acids, kaya hindi ka magkakaroon ng deficiency dyan. And as well as your essential fatty acids, kaya hindi ka magkakaroon ng deficiency dyan. Klaro ba? Yes. So, guys, remember ha, pag tinanong ka, nasaan ang site ng iyong TPN or total parenteral nutrition. Pag sinabing parenteral, through the vein, okay? Through the blood vessel. Ginagamit mo dyan, guys, subclavian vein, okay? Yung dito sa may neck area mo, sa may neck and chest, subclavian vein, dun diretso. Why? Hindi mo pwedeng ilagay yan sa periphery mo, ha? Dapat sa central line yan, guys. Sulat mo, central line yan dapat. Sabi nga natin, this one is a very hypertonic solution. So, pag sinabi mong hypertonic, sobrang concentrated. So, dapat guys, pag binigay mo yan sa malaking ugat, kung saan malakas ang blood flow para ma-dissolve yung concentration. Klaro? Hindi pwedeng ibigay yan dito ha, sa periphery. Pwedeng mag-cause ng extravasation yan or infiltration sa maliliit na ugat. Cannot handle that concentrated solution. So, bigger vessels ang gamit natin. So, guys, infection, kasi nga, hypertonic, punong-puno ng pinaka-favorite ng cells mo as well as ng bacteria, ng fungi at ng virus, sugar. Okay? Klaro ba? Yes. O that's also the reason why yung TPN mo cannot hang for more than 24 hours. Tama? Yes. Basta 24 hours na, whether finished or unfinished, palitan ang TPN. Klaro? Yes. Cannot be stayed. Cannot be stayed. Cannot stay for more than 24 hours. Okay? Hyperglycemia, guys, kung naisip mo to, remember, hyperglycemia only becomes a problem in your TPN, okay? If you are giving it too fast of an infusion. Kaya kailangan naka-infusion, pump. Klaro ba? Yes. Too fast or kapag nagdoble ka ng dose kasi hinahabol mo yung dose na natira, bawal yun ha. Dapat you maintain what is the ordered dose of the doctor para maiwasan mo ang fluctuations sa sugar tulad ng hyperglycemia kapag nasobrahan ka at hypoglycemia kapag nagkulang ka. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay, so that's it guys for number 15. Next, number 16. Which technique is correct when administering a subcutaneous injection to Faruzan? Letter A, use a 1-inch needle for injection. Letter B, insert the needle at a 45-degree angle to the skin. Or letter C, spread the skin tightly at the injection site. Or letter D, draw 0.2 ml of air into the syringe before administration. And the only correct answer is no other than, guys, your letter B. Insert the needle at a 45-degree angle to the skin. Alpha is wrong because the inch is not 1 inch. The size is not 1 inch, guys. Dapat 3/8 to 5/8 inches lang, ha? Ganyan lang ang size niya. 3/8 to 5/8 inches lang yan. 1 inch cannot be. That's too big for a subcutaneous needle. Then 45 degrees to 60 degrees angle. Yan ang for subcutaneous mo. And you do not spread the skin, but rather you pinch the skin. Ayan, di ba? Gusto mo ma-access yung taba. So, you pinch the skin rather than spreading it. You pinch it so that you can pinch the subcutaneous tissue, doon mo mabigay ang gamot. Guys, you don't need to draw air. Mali yan, ha? You don't need to draw air. Kailangan walang air yan kapag subcutaneous injection, okay? Guys, there's a special kind of subcutaneous injection na may air na hindi mo kailangan tanggalin, ha? Remember this. Baka kung tinanong kayo, edi alam nyo. Guys, yung enoxaparin mo, enoxaparin is a low molecular weight. It's a low molecular weight heparin, tama? So, it functions like a heparin, pero lower lang yung yung bleeding tendency ng enoxaparin mo. So, it's a low molecular weight heparin. Remember guys, no, ang enoxaparin mo guys, binibigay mo din yan subcutaneously sa pasyente mo. And your enoxaparin guys, it comes in a pre-filled syringe. Big sabihin guys, nabibili natin yan guys, pre-filled na, nasa syringe na, nandoon na yung dose. Klaro? Yes, and yun yung dose na binibigay natin, pinaka-common sa mga adult patients natin. So, hindi na natin ina-alter yan. Unless otherwise stated sa orders ng doctor na iba yung dose. But otherwise, guys, the pre-filled syringe is what you give to the patient in an adult dose. Guys, in a pre-filled syringe, guys, makikita mo may air yan sa loob. Okay? May air yan sa loob. So, pag tinanong ka, no, patient is given enoxaparin. So, ang sabi ng choice, you need to expel the air bubble. Do not. Okay, do not expel the air bubble. Do not expel. Kailangan ang air bubble dyan. Nandyan yan nilagay. Sinadya yan sa pre-filled syringe mo, ha? Hindi yan pagkakamali. Bakit? Why is there air in your enoxaparin? Guys, the air is there to make sure that you give all the dose to the patient. Klaro? So, pag push mo ng mga fluid na nandoon sa loob, ang may iwan is yung air. Pag pinush mo pa yun, ipupush niya lahat ng laman ng needle, pati doon sa syringe ng needle. Klaro? Para mabigay mo lahat ng dose na kailangan ng pasyente to make the dose exact and accurate. So, guys, ha, baka matrick kayo. Pag enoxaparin at may air, do not expel. Pero, guys, in all other kinds of subcutaneous injections, like your vaccines, like your insulin, and like your heparin, you don't put air. Hindi kailangan ng air dyan. Saan lang may air? Sa pre-filled syringe ng enoxaparin needle mo. Klaro ba? Or your enoxaparin medication in a pre-filled syringes. Klaro ba? Yes. And when there's air in the enox, do you expel? You don't. Klaro, do not expel the air if it's the enoxaparin needle. Okay? Klaro ba yon? Yes. Next, number 17. after surgery to create a urinary diversion. Thoma is at risk for urinary tract infection. Which intervention should be part of the care plan? Letter A, clamp the urinary appliance at night. Letter B, empty the urinary appliance when 1/3 full. Letter C, administer prophylactic antibiotics. Letter D, change the urinary appliance daily. Oh, what's the correct answer? Sige daw, isipin mo, kahit sabihin natin hindi mo alam kung ano urinary diversion, alin dyan ang magpre-prevent ng UTI? Di ba? Very clear. Clear as daylight. Ang sinagot mo dapat as a top-notcher is letter B. Empty the appliance when 1/3 full. Guys, alam mo to, urinary tract infection, marami siyang causes and risk factor. Isa na doon ang ano guys, urinary stasis. When the urine is just there and you do not void on time, okay? You keep your bladder full because for some reason, hindi ka nakakaihi on time. Busy siguro o baka you are a nurse na running a 12-hour shift. Diba? Joke lang. So guys, urinary stasis, klaro? So empty the urinary appliance when 1/3 full. That one will prevent urinary stasis. That one will prevent the risk of the urinary tract infection. Guys, pag nag-clamp ka ng urinary appliance mo at night, di magkakaroon ng urinary stasis ba? Yes, kasi kinlamp mo, hindi makalabas ang ihi. Mapupuno ngayon yung appliance niya. Pwede yan, pag nasa appliance, for example, naiwan yung ihi mo, pwede bang mag-backflow yung urine pag napuno yan back to your urinary diversion? Yes. So, pag may urinary stasis, can that increase the risk of infection? Yes. So, maling-mali ang alpha. Guys, administer prophylactic antibiotic. Para saan? Guys, hindi mo pwedeng gawin yan, ha? Because you just feel like doing it to reduce the risk of an infection. If there are nursing management to decrease infection, guys, or your UTI, you do that. Kasi meron tayong methods to do that. Like your techniques to maintain sterility of the catheter of the patient, or this one, urinary diversion, or to maintain a clean technique at least, or to void every hour if indicated 2 to 3 hours every day. Klaro? Yes. So, yun ang gagawin mo. Do not give antibiotics just because. Klaro? And change the urinary appliance daily is not indicated. The urinary appliance of a patient with urinary diversion can stay for as long as 5 to 7 days depending on the manufacturer guide. Klaro? Guys, so let's discuss the elephant in the room because I'm pretty sure you're curious. Urinary diversion, ano ba yan? Guys, from the word itself, it will divert the urine. Klaro? Yes, kaya nga urinary diversion. So, tandaan mo to ha, urinary diversion, pinaka-common ginagamit natin yan kapag meron kang cancer, saan? Sa bladder. Klaro? Cancer sa bladder. So guys, listen, mga pasyente natin na may bladder cancer, pag natanggal na yung bladder nila kasi nandoon yung cancer, klaro, pag na-surgically remove na yung bladder, the question is, saan pupunta ang ihi? Diba? Dan papasok ang concept ng urinary diversions. Klaro? So guys, eto lang ha, simplify lang natin. Yung urinary diversions mo guys, gumagamit ka ng portion ng ileum. Ileum is the third segment of the small intestine. So, kukuha ka ng konting ileum, yun ang gagawin mo na diversion. So, yung ureters ng pasyente mo, i-attach mo siya sa ileum na kinuha mo. So, ma'am, yung ileum yung parang magiging bladder? Yes, precisely, my dear. Tapos, yung ileum na yan, guys, ilalabas mo yan sa abdominal wall. Klaro, yung part niyan. So, parang magiging maliit na stoma yan siya. Klaro? Yes, so pag nalabas mo na yun, maliit na stoma, dun mo i-attach yung appliance na sinasabi dito. So, yung appliance na yun, guys, dun lalabas yung ihi. Klaro ba? Yes. Kasi yung ileum mo, mas konti yung capacity niya as compared to your bladder. So, ang next concept na dapat alam mo about your urinary diversions, guys, meron kang urinary diversions na continent, pati incontinent. So, ibig sabihin, guys, pag sinabi mong continent urinary diversion, sulat mo dyan ha, pag sinabing continent na diversion, that's your Coke. Coke ang pronunciation yan, guys, hindi yan cock. Coke pouch. Ayan, Coke pouch. So, ito si Coke pouch, guys. Kaya mong kontrolin ang urine output. Ibig sabihin, kaya mong pigilan yung paglabas. Kaya mo din ilabas siya on your own. So, may own will ka dito. May free will ka. Kaya nga, continent. The other one is what you call your incontinent. So, itong incontinent, guys, kung mapapansin mo, or kung narinig mo na ang term na yun, guys, that's your ileal Ileal. Sorry, wrong spelling. Ayan. Letter I yan ha. This is letter A. Ileal conduit. Ayan. Ileal conduit. That's your incontinent urinary diversion. So that one guys, since incontinent yan, ibig sabihin hindi mo kayang kontrolin yung flow ng urine. Klaro ba? Yes. So kung hindi mo kayang kontrolin yung flow ng urine, kailangan ba naka-appliance ka? Yes. Para diretso sa labas ng appliance yung ihi mo at hindi siya tutulo lang sa abdomen mo? Yes, precisely. So ma'am, yung urine, yung continental yung yung coke pouch ko guys, no? Yung coke pouch ko ng continental urinary diversion. Anong gagawin ko sa kanya, ma'am? Since continent ako, kaya kong kontrolin yung ihi. Guys, dito papasok yung concept na kailangan mo ng self catheter. Yan yung urinary diversion na nagsa-self-catheterize ka every 2 to 3 hours, okay? Or as tolerated. Pagtagal, pwede ka nang mag-extend to 5 to 6 hours kasi mas continent ka na. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay, ganun yun ha. Tapos guys, ito pa, another difference nila ha. Pag sinabing continent pouch, dyan ka makakakita ng nipple valve. Okay? Nipple valve ha. Nipple valve yung exterior niya. So, ibig sabihin, pag nipple yan, guys, mas maliit yung butas. So, kayang ipasok yung catheter pag gusto mo nang i-empty yung coke pouch mo. Klaro? And continent ka, ha? Hindi lalabas yung ibo basta-basta, ha? Klaro? Yes. So, on the other hand, guys, yung ileal conduit mo na incontinent, ito naman yung may stoma. Stoma naman, medyo mas malaki ang butas and yan yung nilalagyan ng appliance. Just like your stoma in a colostomy. Klaro? Yes, but this one is for your urine. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Okay, yun yung pinaka-simplified concept dito, guys, ha? That's all. That's all you need to know. Klaro ba yon? Yes. So, sige. Next one, number 18. While suctioning, Kazu has tracheostomy tube. The nurse should oxygenate the client before suctioning, insert the suction catheter about 2 inches into the cannula, or use a bolus of sterile water to stimulate cough, or use clean gloves during the procedure. Oh, the only correct answer here is no other than alpha, ha? Alpha. Alpha yung isasagot ng top notcher dito. Oxygenate the client before suctioning. So guys, wag mong sabihin na, ma'am, this is while suctioning, during suctioning. We oxygenate before suctioning. Guys, ito lang sasabihin ko sa'yo. Ilang beses ka ba magsa-suction sa pasyente mo? Guys, you can suction the patient pag may secretion pa, ha? Hindi yan one time, big time lang. Guys, pag nag-suction ka, anong gagawin mo before ka mag-suction? So, ibig sabihin, during the entire time you're suctioning, dapat i-hyper-oxygenate mo muna ang pasyente mo. Klaro ba? Yes. So guys, before ka mag-proceed with suctioning, example, multiple suctioning episodes ang gagawin mo. Okay? Maximum of 3. Ang gagawin mo, before you suction, you oxygenate first. That's the best answer. Yan yung pinakatama dyan. That's to prevent what? Hypoxia. Okay? Para hindi mag-desaturate ang pasyente mo. Hyper-oxygenate the patient. Letter B, insert the suction catheter about 2 inches into the cannula lang, guys. Imagine, guys, the entire tracheostomy mo, guys, it's about 6 to 8 cm. Okay? So, at least 6 to 8 cm makasuction ka man sa pasyente mo, okay? Until you reach a resistance. So, kailangan makaabot ka doon sa dulo. Hanggang sa may resistance, you withdraw a little. Mga siguro 1 cm, withdraw mo ng konti pag may resistance na. And then you suction. Kasi ang importante dito, guys, you're suctioning the secretion. So, pag 2 inches lang, hindi ka makakasuction ng secretion dyan. Hindi mo makiklear ang airway ng pasyente mo. Klaro? Masyadong short yan, guys. 2 inches lang, okay? Sana hindi ka na lang nag-suction. Sana kinamay mo na lang. Klaro ba? Yes. So, guys, it's 6 to 8 cm yung length ng cannula ng ng tracheostomy. So, you go from there and then insert until you reach a resistance. Pag may resistance na, dahan-dahan mong i-retract ng konti and then i-suction mo. Klaro? Para makuha mo lahat ng secretions dyan. Klaro? Yes. You don't insert a bolus of sterile water to simulate cough, ha? Tandaan mo, airway yan. Pag nilagyan mo yan ng bolus ng sterile water, pina-aspirate mo ang pasyente mo. Guys, IR ka dyan, okay? Negligence yan. Bawal yan. Makakasuhan ka ng pasyente mo. Guys, use a clean gloves during the procedure. Mali. Guys, airway yan. Dapat yan sterile to prevent pneumonia and other airway-associated infection. Klaro ba? Yes. Next, number 19. When cleaning IACA's incision and drain site, the nurse should, letter A, clean the incision and drain site separately. Letter B, clean from the incision to the drain site. Letter C, clean from the drain site to the incision. Or letter D, clean the incision and drain site simultaneously. Oh, for this one guys ha, isipin mo sanang pinaka-sterile dyan or kung hindi man sterile yung pinaka makaka-reduce ng cross-contamination or cross-infection. Okay? Oh, dapat ang sinagot mo no other than your alpha, clean the incision and drain site separately. Klaro ba? Yes, okay. Guys, magkaiba sila ha. So, una mong lilinisan yung pinaka-sterile, yung pinaka-malinis sa kanila. Sino yun? Una mo na, si incision. Okay? Linisan mo si incision. Then after you clean the incision, separately clean the drain site. Klaro? Yes, yun yung pinaka-dirty dyan, yung drain site. Kasi nandyan yung drainage ng secretion ng incision. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay, so yan ha. So una ang pinaka-area na dapat clean to the dirtiest. Ganun ka maglinis. So guys, hindi pwedeng clean from the incision to the drainage site. Bali yan. You should separately clean them because they are separate surfaces. Guys, incision sa skin ng pasyente mo yan. Drainage, guys, the appliance na. Hindi pwedeng sabay mong lilinisan yan, ha? Kasi different surfaces yan. So, una muna ang pasyente and then ang appliance niya. So, dapat separately. Klaro? So, mali ang Bravo and Charlie and you don't clean them simultaneously. Cross-contaminate yan. So, bawal. Okay? Alpha is the only correct answer. Next, number 20. The infusion rate of the TPN or your total parenteral nutrition of Goro is tapered before discontinuation. This is done to prevent, letter A, essential fatty acid deficiency, letter B, dehydration, letter C, rebound hypoglycemia, letter D, malnutrition. Oh, anong isasagot ng top notcher pag ito ang question? Walang iba kundi guys, C, rebound hypoglycemia. Okay, that's the only correct answer. Why are you tapering the dose? Guys, pag sinabing taper, you remove it little by little. So, dahan-dahan mo siyang tatanggalin. You wean. Para bang ni-wean. Wean off. Ayan. So, hindi pwedeng tanggalin kaagad or basta-basta na lang or abruptly. Okay? Dapat you wean off the patient from the total parenteral nutrition. O guys, why kaya? Diba? Going back to the concept na tinuro natin kanina, your total parenteral nutrition, is it rich in dextrose or sugar? Yes. And rich of all other things you need for your nutrition? Yes. So guys, imagine mo ha, ang katawan mo, nung naka-TPN siya, reliant siya sa TPN. Doon niya kinukuha lahat ng nutrition niya. So, ngayon yung pancreas mo, nung nagkaroon ka ng TPN, anong ginawa niya? Nag-adjust siya sa TPN mo. Nire-release niya yung insulin na kailangan mo para lahat ng sugar from the TPN na papasok niya sa cells mo. Ngayon, pagkatapos noon, di ba, sabihin natin you've been on TPN for 1 week. Okay? So, yung insulin sa katawan mo, all-time high. Kasi yung TPN, continuous yan. Klaro? So guys, ang mangyayari, if you abruptly remove it, okay, pag tinanggal mo yan ng agad-agad, abruptly, without tapering, without weaning off the patient from the TPN, yung pancreas mo, sobrang taas ng insulin, pag tanggal mo, wala ka ng source ng sugar, mataas pa rin ng insulin mo, anong mangyayari sa'yo? Hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia, sulat mo yan ha, hypo-gly is sugar, imia, in the hema, in the blood. So, mauubos ang sugar mo sa blood kasi tinanggal mo na yung source ng sugar mo, which is your total parenteral nutrition. Klaro ba? Yes. And then your insulin is still all-time high kasi nasanay ang pancreas mo na lagi kang may TPN at laging mataas ang sugar sa blood mo. Klaro ba? Yes. That's why you wean off, you taper to prevent your what? Rebound hypoglycemia. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay? So again guys, it's not for essential fatty acid deficiency kasi laman yan ng TPN mo. So walang magiging deficiency dyan. Dehydration, no. Kasi this is about nutrition rather than fluid balance. So guys, malnutrition is wrong. Bakit kaya dinidiscontinue na natin ang TPN mo? Kasi ikaw naka-recover ka na from the malnutrition, okay? So, hindi na malnutrition ang sagot dito, guys. Malnutrition was the indication of the TPN nung nag-TPN ka start. Ngayon, tinatanggal ng TPN, ibig sabihin, naka-recover ka na ba? Yes. Okay, klaro ba yun? Yes, naka-recover ka na from the malnutrition. Next, number 21. After a bronchoscopy with biopsy, the nurse assesses Shanha. Which findings should be reported immediately? Guys, letter A, green sputum. Letter B, dry cough. Letter C, hemoptysis. Letter D, laryngeal stridor. Which among the following is an A, B, C, or an airway priority? Oh, no other than your what? Dapat ang sagot ng top notcher, delta. Laryngeal stridor. Correct ba? Yes, laryngeal stridor. Guys, yan yung best answer dyan. Look here and listen. Pag sinabing stridor, stridor with the letter I, that's what you hear during inhalation because of a large airway obstruction. Klaro ba? So, inhalation yan na adventitious sound. It's an abnormal sound you hear if there's a problem in the airway or the mga lagusan ng hangin ng katawan. So, guys, stridor sounds like during inhalation. Klaro ba? The inhalation ng patient may problem, may naiipit, may obstruction ng large airway. So guys large airway obstruction, is that an airway problem? Yes, that's why the answer is laryngeal stridor. Now guys, bronchoscopy with biopsy, green sputum. Guys, ibig sabihin may infection siya ongoing. Kaya nga tayo nag-biopsy din. The biopsy will also know what kind of infectious agent is causing whatever kind of problem or pneumonia the patient has here, okay? Or infection of the lungs. Guys, dry cough, normal ba na expected? Yes, kasi nag-bronchoscopy ka, di ba? You have inserted an endoscope there, so baka na-irritate ng konti yung mucosa, kaya ang pasyente mo nauubo. So, normal ba yan and expected? Yes. Guys, hemoptysis na may ubo. Guys, pwedeng nagasgas ng konti yung airway or yung throat niya, kaya anong pag-cough niya may blood-streaked sputum. So, from the trauma yan ng, ng bronchoscopy. So, yan guys, it will just heal. Klaro? Pero pag naging persistent yan and large amount of blood ang nalalabas, edi problem din yan. But for this one, pag nakita mo ang laryngeal stridor, ibig sabihin nag-inflame ang airway because of the trauma of the insertion of the bronchoscopy. Pag inflame na close, kaya may laryngeal stridor. Yan ang airway problem mo. Yan ang answer dito. Klaro ba? Yes, that's the only correct answer. Okay, next, number 22. 4 days after your TURP, that's your transurethral resection of the prostate, Dane Sleeve has his catheter removed but is experiencing urinary dribbling. Which nursing action is appropriate? Guys, letter A, teach the client Kegel exercises. B, obtain urine culture and sensitivity analysis. Letter C, encourage voiding every hour to prevent dribbling. Or D, inform him that a dribbling will stop after a few days. Anong appropriate nursing action mo dyan? Kasi guys, meron siyang urinary dribbling. Urinary dribbling yan yung nagtutulo pa rin yung ihi mo kahit tapos ka na umihi, di ba? Post-void incontinence. Again, ano yan guys? Sulat mo ha. Post-void incontinence. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo makontrol, may lumalabas pa rin after mo umihi, may tumutulo pa rin kahit tapos ka nang umihi. That's your urinary dribbling. So guys, anong gagawin mo pag nangyayari yan? Diba? The only correct answer is no other than alpha ha, teach the client Kegel exercises. Guys, Kegel exercises, also called your pelvic floor exercise. Yan yung gagawin mo para mas magkaroon siya ng urinary continence. Klaro? Guys, nag-TURP ka na ba? Nag-transurethral resection of the prostate ka na ba to open up the urinary, the urethra of the pasyente? Yes. Okay? So, kung may urine dribbling siya, guys, post-void incontinence, anong problem? May incontinence pa rin siya. So, ibig sabihin, guys, the pelvic floor muscle of the patient is not that strong yet. Kasi nasanay siya sa sa catheter or kaya ibang problems pa sa pelvic floor na talaga. So, to strengthen the pelvic floor, the instruction is to do the Kegels exercises. The Kegels exercises, guys, is when you contract the muscles of the anus, urethra, and the vagina. So, ito, wala siyang vagina kasi nag-TURP siya, okay? So, you contract the muscles of the anus and yung basta dyan sa may okay? Sa may anal area, okay? So guys, you do that 45 times na mabilis. So contract and then relax. Contract and then relax for 45 times. And then another 45 times, guys, yung long hold contraction. So guys, mga boys dyan ha, sabayan nyo ko guys. You contract your anal sphincter, okay? Yung anus mo. Ayan, sa mga babae naman, yung sa urethra and vagina nyo, guys, i-contract mo yan 45 times. So, contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Ganon. And then you can also hold it for 2 seconds, 2 to 10 seconds kung hanggang saan mo kaya. So, guys, i-feel mo yung muscle sa anus mo ha, or in the vagina or in the urethra. You contract and then hold for a couple of seconds and then release. And then you contract and hold for a couple of seconds and then you release. That's your Kegels exercises. That one can help with your urinary incontinence, your post void incontinence, your dribbling. Klaro ba? Yes. So, yan ang gagawin mo. Culture, gagawin mo yan pag may infection. This is not an infection, but rather an incontinence. Guys, voiding every hour is wrong. You have to void the patient every 2 to 3 hours naman. Guys, pag every hour, guys, magugulo ng buhay niya. Wala na siyang buhay kundi umihi, di ba? So, that's not good, okay? Guys, inform him that the dribbling will stop. No, that's not helpful. To help the patient manage the incontinence, you help the patient do the Kegels exercises. So, mag-Kegels kayo dalawa ng pasyente mo. Every day, 45 times ng fast contraction and relaxation and 45 times ng long contraction and then relaxation. Every day. And Kegels exercises, you can do this anytime, anywhere, any position. Klaro ba? Yes, there's no specific rule. Hindi kailangan naka-yoga position. Wala. Guys, kahit nakahiga ka, kahit nakikinig ka sa akin ngayon, pwede kang mag-Kegels. Klaro ba? Yes. O yan ha. Next, number 23. After TERP, the nurse notes Baiju's urine is bright red, full of clots, and viscous. What is the most appropriate action? A. Irrigate the catheter to remove clots. B. Milk the catheter tube vigorously. Or C. Increase the client's fluid intake. Or D. Assess the vital sign and notify the surgeon. Guys, wala kang ibang gagawin pag nangyari to, ha? What's your answer? Dapat ang answer mo is Delta. Delta, you assess the vital signs and notify the surgeon. Guys, bright red blood in your MS concept or questions, it's never gonna be good. It's always a red flag. Guys, bright red flag. Dapat pag nakita mo yan, toro mode ka. Okay? Like a bull. Dapat ang gagawin mo, assess the vital signs for any alterations, especially in the pulse and the blood pressure. And then, you notify the surgeon. Because anong nangyayari sa pasyente mo? Pag may bright red bleed, ibig sabihin there is an ongoing hemorrhage, bleeding, correct? May maraming clots tapos nagiging viscous. Guys, ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ng bleeding. Report to the doctor. Klaro ba? Yes. Lalo't lalo ng after TERP lang ang pasyente mo. Guys, you don't irrigate the catheter to remove clots, ha? You only do that kapag normal ang nangyayari sa pasyente mo to prevent the clot. Pero pag ganito na nangyayari, sobrang daming clots and then bleeding, report to the doctor. There is an ongoing complication. There is an ongoing hemorrhage to the patient. You don't milk the tube. Never do that. Okay? You never milk the tube, guys, ha? Kasi, ang tube mo, patent yan. Pag ni-milk mo yan, pwedeng masira mo yung pagiging intact ng tube, hindi na siya magiging patent ngayon. Klaro ba? Yes. There's no need to increase the fluid intake. Report, there's an ongoing hemorrhage. Klaro? Yes. Next, number 24. After inserting an NG tube for sucrose, the nurse can most accurately confirm placement if letter A, the client is no longer gagging or coughing. Letter B, the pH of the aspirated fluid is measured. Letter C, 30 ml of normal saline can be injected without difficulty. Letter D, a whooshing sound is auscultated when a 10 ml of air is inserted. Guys, anong sagot mo? The only correct answer here, top-notcher pag sinagot, letter B. The pH is aspirated. The pH of the aspirated fluid is measured. The pH should be what? Acidic. Ibig sabihin, less than 7.35. Klaro? Dapat acidic ang fluid na na-aspirate mo sa pasyente, guys. Kasi pag acidic yan, ibig sabihin nasaan? Nasa stomach yan. Kasi sa stomach, maraming acid ba dyan? Yes, your hydrochloric acid. Klaro, dapat acidic ang pH. Guys, pag sinagot mo, whooshing sound is auscultated when a 10 ml of air is inserted, that one is not as accurate as assessing the pH. Klaro ba? Yes. So guys, between your auscultation and your pH. The best answer is the pH, klaro? Yan ang pinaka-determinant and the best nursing action for you to check the placement. Klaro ba? Yes, hindi ang yung injection of air, guys, ha? Hindi. Guys, pag nag-inject ka ng air, tapos may 10 ml, nag-inject ka ng 10 ml na air, tapos naka-auscultate ka ng whooshing sound, you can also auscultate that pag nasa baga ka. Okay? So, guys, ang pinaka-determinant is the pH. Klaro? Guys, client is no longer gagging or coughing is not a best indicator na nasa loob na ng stomach yan. Klaro? Baka wala pa sa placement yan, baka hanging up pa. Klaro? Yes, so that's not the best. Guys, 30 ml of normal saline can be injected without difficulty. The same thing. Guys, walang difficulty pag i-inject mo yan sa stomach, pati sa baga ng pasyente mo. Klaro? Yes, magfo-flow lang yan. Guys, pero hindi sure na nasa loob ng stomach yan. So guys, that's also not correct. The best nursing is what? Checking the pH. The best medical or ang pinaka-best pag nandyan is no other than your X-ray. Klaro ba? Yes. So guys ha, technique sa MS, kahit anong tube pa yan, if gusto mo i-check ang placement, ang best is X-ray, radiograph, X-ray. So ma'am, totoo ba kahit subclavian insertion ng TPN, X-ray? Guys, pag CTT chest tube, X-ray. NGT, X-ray. PEG tube, PEG tube, X-ray. Klaro ba? Walang ibang sagot kundi guys? X-ray. To check for what? The placement of whatever kind of tube in the body, X-ray. Correct ba? Swan-Ganz catheter, anong best? X-ray. Okay? Walang ibang isasagot sa board exam kundi X-ray. Klaro ba? Yes. Next, number 25. The nurse administers a tap water enema to Eugene. During infusion, she experiences abdominal cramping. What should the nurse do first? Letter A, clamp the tubing and carefully withdraw the tube. Letter B, temporarily stop the infusion and have the client take deep breaths. Letter C, raise the height of the enema container. Letter B, rub the client's abdomen gently until the cramp subsides. Okay? Guys, anong sagot? There's no other correct answer but no other than your bravo. Temporarily stop the infusion and have the client take deep breaths. Okay? Yan ang gagawin mo, guys, ha? Oh, guys, tell me, abdominal cramping during enema, is that expected? Yes. Expected. Hindi yan siya abnormality. Guys, expected yan, ha? And you can manage that. Anong gagawin mo? Pag sabi ng pasyente, wait lang, sakit, parang kinakabag ako. Ang gagawin mo, you temporarily stop. You clamp the tube, okay? From the fluid going to the enema. You stop. You clamp momentarily. And then, you have the client take deep breaths para makarelax siya ng konti. Why are you clamping it? Yung nilagay mo na tubig, baka masyadong number 1, mabilis, kaya siya nagka-cramp. And number 2, baka masyadong malamig. Klaro ba? Or body temperature. So, when you momentarily clamp it, guys, yung tubig na nalagay mo sa loob ng intestines niya, guys, because of the heat of the body, maiinit yun ng konti. Pag na-warm up na yun to the body temperature, yung fluid na in-insert mo, mawawala din ang abdominal cramping. Magsasubside. So, temporarily clamp. Once nag-subside, you return on a slower pace. Slower flow. Klaro ba? Yes, okay? Kasi magkukos ng cramps, guys? Number 1, masyado kang mabilis. Number 2, masyadong malamig. Hindi pa siya body temperature, yung fluid na in-insert mo. Klaro ba? Yes. You don't need to withdraw the tube. Kasi wala nga problema. Expected nga ang cramping. So, sa mga nakapag-try na mag-douche dyan, okay, yung mga nag-anal cleanse, nagdo-douche, di ba guys? Nagka-cramps talaga yan pag malamig ang tubig. Kaya dapat konting warm at hindi sobrang bilis. Okay? Alam nyo yan. Guys, you raise the height of the enema container. No, don't do that. Pag pinataas mo ang enema container, ang mangyayari, mas mabilis ang pag-infuse ng fluid. Anong nagkukos ng cramping? Number 1, masyado kang mabilis. Number 2, guys, masyadong malamig. Klaro ba? Yes. So, do not raise the height. In fact, ang gagawin mo, pag masyadong mabilis at nagka-cramp siya, i-lower mo konti yung height. Klaro? Lower the height. Okay? Pag lower ang height, slower ang pag-flow. Pag higher, faster. Klaro? Guys, rub the client's abdomen No need to do the support system, okay? Para support system, okay lang yan, kaya mo yan, okay? Walang ganun, ha? Guys, you stop muna temporarily. That's the only correct answer. Next, number 26. Venti is receiving total parenteral nutrition. After 24 hours, after 24 hours, 300 ml remains in the bag. What should the nurse do? Sige daw. Letter A, do you continue the infusion until the remaining 300 ml is infused? Or B, do you change the filter of the tubing and continue with the infusion? Or C, do you notify the physician and obtain orders to alter the flow rate? Or letter D, do you discontinue the current solution and change the tubing and hang a new bag? Kakasabi ko lang kanina, dapat ang sinagot ni dito ay walang iba kundi ano? Delta po. Discontinue the current solution. You change the tubing and then you hang a new bag. That's the only correct answer. Bakit guys? Anong nangyari? 24 hours na ba ang nakalipas? Yes. Bawal bang sumobra sa 24 hours ang TPN mo? Yes. Kasi ano ang priority sa TPN mo? No other than to prevent your what? Infection. Again, yan ang hard and fast rule natin sa mga nursing priorities mo. Pag TPN, prevent infection. Walang ibang sagot sa board exam. Klaro ba? Yes. And bawal maghang ang TPN bag for more than 24 hours kasi at risk for infection na yan. Palitan mo ang bag, palitan mo ang tubing. Klaro ba? Yes. Tingnan mo ha, continue the infusion is very wrong. Pag pinilit mong infuse ang 300 ml, guys, at risk for infection ng pasyente mo, at risk pa for hyperglycemia. You change the bag if it's more than 24 hours. You don't need to change the filter lang and then continue the infusion. That will still cause an infection. You change everything, the bag and the tubing. Klaro ba? Yes. So, you notify the physician to obtain other orders to alter the flow rate is no need. Guys, kung anong flow rate na binigay ng doktor, yan na yung para sa kanya. Base yan sa timbang niya at sa case ng pasyente. Klaro ba? There's no need to alter para lang maubos ang 300 ml. Again, anong sabi natin? Pag naghahabol kang ubusin ang solution ng TPN, it can cause your what? Hyperglycemia. Klaro? Yes. So, mali yan. The only correct answer is delta. Next, number 27. To reduce urethral irritation, where should the nurse tape EULA's Foley catheter? Guys, EULA is a female. Foley catheter niya saan mo i-attach or iti-tape para ma-prevent ang urethral irritation. Ibig sabihin, the pulling, the tugging of the catheter while the patient is walking or doing activity. Klaro, or changing the, or draining the bag. Natatag yan. So, kailangan i-anchor mo yan. Ang tanong, saan? A, inner thigh, or B, groin area, or C, lower abdomen, or D, lower thigh. Saan ang best answer? Guys, no other than your what? Inner thigh. Yung pinakamalapit sa meatus niya, guys. Doon mo siya iti-tape banda. So, sa inner thighs, no, in between your inner thighs, doon mo siya iti-tape para hindi siya mag-tug every time nagkagalaw mo yung catheter niya. Yun yung masakit. Yun yung nagkukos ng urethral irritation. So, you tape it in the inner thigh. Klaro ba? Guys, grabe naman kung sa groin, no? Mahapdi yan, okay? I mean, uncomfortable. Pag tanggal mo ng tape, guys, matanggal pati yung balat niya dyan, ha? Pati yung mga buhok na nakadikit. So, wrong yan, okay? Not on the groin and definitely not on the lower abdomen. Grabe, guys. Inakyat mo ng ganun yung catheter para sa abdomen. Guys, dapat nga below the level of the bladder yan, di ba? So, mali yan, okay? It will not follow the contour of the catheter, okay? Pwedeng mayupi ang catheter pag ginawa mo yan. Lower thigh, masyado ng mababa. So, the closest is the inner thigh. Doon mo ilalagay. Klaro ba? Saan mo ilalagay? Sa inner thigh. Okay, doon. Next, number 28. Which client would benefit from the application of warm, moist heat? Let's see. Letter A, yung may appendicitis na si Kalei, or si Sino na may recently sprained joint, or si Lisa na may suspected malignancy, or si Shinqui na may low back pain. Kanino mo ibibigay? Guys, the only correct answer is no other than your what? Dapat si Shinqui na may low back pain. Siya lang ang magbe-benefit sa warm compress. What did we say about the warm compress? It will cause your what? Vasodilation. Pag nag-vasodilate ka, that will what? Improve your what? Circulation. So guys, tell me, when you have low back pain, do you want to improve circulation to manage the pain. Yes, okay? Guys, low back pain happens kasi nako-compress yung mga nerves dyan tapos walang maayos na circulation. So, to improve the circulation, you apply your warm compress. Klaro ba? Yes. Appendicitis, bawal lahat ng mga warm compress. Anong pwede sa appendicitis, guys? Cold compress lang for comfort. Cold compress. Klaro? Guys, sprained joint. Tell me, if recently lang na-sprain ang joint mo, guys, is the area swelling, very swollen and very painful? Yes. So, ang sprained joint will benefit more on a cold compress. Kasi pag cold compress, guys, cold with the letter C, it will constrict the blood vessels. Pag kinonstrict mo ang blood vessels, guys, the area na may sprain, like your joint, magmi-minimize or hindi na lalala ang swelling kasi nag-vasoconstrict ka, klaro? Pag nag-vasodilate ka dyan, mas magsuswell yan kasi mas pupunta dyan ang mga inflammatory cells mo. So, vasoconstrict para mas konti yung blood flow dyan. At the same time, the cold compress will promote the numbness of the nerve endings. Inanumb niyang nerve endings para yung sprained joint mo hindi ganun kasakit. Klaro? Suspected malignancy. Guys, tell me, cancer cells, when you vasodilate and improve the circulation in your cancer cells, malignancy, will that promote the growth of the cancer cells? Yes, okay? Kaya nga guys, di ba, isa sa management natin sa onco nursing mo, you also promote the removal of the cancer cells and the removal of the blood vessels that supplies them the blood, that improves their proliferation or grows them even more. So guys ha, bawal yan. Bawal ang pag-improve ng circulation sa cancer cells. Bawal mag-promote ng vasodilation. That will grow the cancer cells even more. Klaro? Yes. Next, number 29, the nurse is teaching Tignari how to perform pursed lip breathing for emphysema. The primary reason is to what? Letter A, increase oxygenation. Letter B, prolong exhalation. Letter C, prevent respiratory infection. Letter D, decrease the shortness of breath. Guys, walang ibang tamang sagot kundi bravo. Prolong exhalation. Diba guys, nagpo-pursed lip breathing ka sa emphysema to prevent the collapse of the alveoli and as well as to release all the mga na-air trap mo dyan, di ba? When you say emphysema, there is air trapping or gas trapping, especially what kind of gas? Your CO2, carbohydrates, carbon dioxide. Guys, pursed lip breathing is when you exhale longer than you inhale. So, inhale, then exhale as if you're blowing a candle, as if you're blowing a kiss. Okay, ayan. So, that's their pursed lip breathing to prolong exhalation, to remove air trapping, okay, and to prevent the collapse of the alveoli. Klaro? Yes. If gusto mong mag-increase ng oxygenation, guys, sa emphysema, hindi pwede yan. Kasi dapat you maintain the what? Hypoxic drive. The hypoxic drive is the one that will trigger the patient to breathe. And that only happens when you have the carbon dioxide in the body. So, you do not increase oxygenation. Bawal, okay? Guys, infection sa respite, kung gusto mo i-prevent yan, your antibiotics and mga clean and aseptic techniques on the respite. Klaro? And guys, shortness of breath para ma-decrease mo yan. O, yung mga positioning natin, elevate the head of the bed, okay? Orthoptic position. Ayan, klaro? Yes. Next, number 30. When administering an IM injection to Alhaitham, the nurse uses the Z-track technique. When the medication, guys, kakasabi lang natin kanina, kailan tayo nagzi-Z-track? Letter A, takes a long time to absorb ba? Or letter B, takes effect very quickly? Or letter C, irritating to the tissues? Or letter D, viscous inconsistency? Bakit natin dinidislocate intentionally ang subcutaneous tissue para ma-cover natin ang tracks ng IM injection? Kasi letter C, it's irritating to the tissues. Kaya ayaw mong mag-leak siya sa tissues. Ayun, you do your what? Z-track method. So, ayun guys, Z-track method, you deliberately dislocate the subcutaneous tissue and then inject and then withdraw the needle and then you bring back the subcutaneous tissue to seal off yung saan ka tumusok para hindi mag-leak out. Okay? Yung irritating to the tissues na medication. Klaro ba? Yes, that's your number 30 and that's the last item. I hope you learned. Bye!